Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca and we are back with a garden update. I'm so excited to show you guys the garden. It has grown so much since you last saw it. We have so many fun things to update on. It's been such a wet spring as well that I really haven't had to do a ton of watering, but I do know that the drought is coming. Late summer in Missouri was always very dry and I'm sure it'll be exactly the same here. Plus it's going to be so much hotter. Excited to show you the progress right now and also introduce you to something very exciting. It is the irrigation kit from Vego Gardens. They very kindly sent them out to me and I'm so excited to finally have some sort of irrigation system out here because admittedly watering is not something that I have a ton of time for, and honestly the garden was saved by a wet spring. Otherwise I don't think that it would look as good as it currently does. But before we do all that, let's do a quick little walk around and see what's growing. Okay, we're gonna start with the bed. Furthest over, I have 4 of them. We're gonna start over here. My watermelon is quickly taking over. We have a lot of foliage and I need to trim my what is this? Cilantro, because it's starting to put out blooms and I don't want that, so I'm gonna cut that off. Lots going on here with the watermelon. I see lots of blooms, but basically this whole bed was taken over by the watermelon. Surprisingly enough, it has gone this way when my intention was for it to go this way. So it's not like the biggest deal in the world, but I do have some herbs planted in here that are kind of being not choked out, but just kind of like, oh, I think they are being used as a post. Okay, so we don't want that. I'm gonna correct that real quick. Anyway, this is rosemary. I did finally find a rosemary plant and I'm super excited about it. I'm realizing now that this probably wasn't the best plan to put my watermelon, which spreads very widely, into this type of a situation, but I don't know, I guess I wasn't expecting it to go this way. Regardless, rosemary, I finally found it at the farm store actually. You guys know I planted these zinnias and they did bloom. I'm a little bit disappointed. We have the color that I thought that I would have, but they are just super small. But there's a bunch of others coming in and they do bloom quite a lot. So hopefully we will get more blooms that are a little bit less anticlimactic. Like we've got some here and down here and here. So lots of opportunities for more. This bed is very exciting. Probably has like my biggest plant. This tomato plant needs to be pruned very, very badly. Admittedly, I've never been in a situation where I like have to prune my tomatoes because they just are never this happy. So I lucked out this year. We have so many like growth points like this. So obviously we're getting a lot of tomatoes. I'm super excited to be able to harvest these. Like they're just everywhere. Some of them have fallen off or maybe they just never had a tomato in the first place, but there's so many that it doesn't matter. Like I am absolutely obsessed. I need to like figure out at what point I can harvest them. They're supposed to be red, I think, but they look like they're purple and green. So I'm assuming they're just not ready yet. I need to look at the tag again. The tag, okay, yeah, they're red on the tag, so it's definitely not time to harvest them yet. I'm just gonna keep waiting around for that. Next to that, I have 3 squash plants. Way too many. I should not have planted 3, but it is what it is. As you can see, this bed is very full. So I have 1 squash that is definitely ready to be harvested, and then a couple little ones over here. I already harvested 1 off of this plant, so definitely a steady flow of squash. This is a sunflower, which is still working on leaves, not ready to bloom quite yet. I've got some green beans down here, which actually I looked, and this one looks like it has some green beans coming in, which is very, very exciting. This sign will not stay up. Like I swear, I've put it up about 1,000 times. The wind is too strong here for it. I need to put it somewhere else. Like I think I'm just gonna screw it onto the wall back here, like right there. Okay, so something I've learned this year is that pill bugs actually eat our vegetables. So there's a lot going on here. This plant is not very happy. It definitely was infested with some sort of pest. What I saw was, again, pill bugs doing all of this. And I did not know that they did that. I did not deal with that in Missouri, but we do have a lot of plant. It's not really trying to grow up the trellis, which is annoying, so I'm gonna have to come out here and do some training. It's not the end of the world. There's still a lot of foliage and cucumbers are a pretty hardy crop, so I'm not like entirely concerned. We have another sunflower here, which is so small. It honestly just like looks like a weed, but that's a sunflower. And then we have more tomatoes. This plant is doing really well too. You can see there's like some random bunches just kind of all over. It's very exciting. I cannot wait to eat these. They're just so delicious. I have a really funny like smallest to largest situation with my cosmos. These are getting really close to blooming, and it's fun to see them without aphids all over them, because last time I grew cosmos, they were absolutely covered in aphids. So it's a good change this year. My little sage bush is doing very well. No updates for her, but she's doing great. And an update on my marigolds, they all have died basically, except for the ones in that bed. But yeah, I don't know what exactly got to them. It might have been the pill bugs, it might have been something else, but honestly they kind of served as a catch crop because a lot of my other stuff is pretty much unscathed by bugs at this point. They also died in this bed, and I've been like, as I can, grabbing the seed heads and just kind of like distributing them around. But yeah, not a ton of updates there. I do have, oh, calendula. This is calendula. It's looking okay. It looks like there might be bugs or something going on. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to kind of come through and spray them down. Oh, we do have a really big tomato on this tomato plant, which actually never got a cage around it. So it's just kind of growing wild, which I don't love. My cantaloupe are doing great. Nothing to report quite yet. I am definitely going to be working on training these to go this way because the bed is already very full because of Miss Tomato. So that's the general update. I need to do a lot of research on pruning tomatoes. I, again, have never had to do it before. This is an exciting change for me that I like have to figure that out because my tomatoes just like honestly were never this happy before. I'm gonna learn how to do that. But I'm gonna grab, actually I need to finish installing this irrigation kit because I started it the other day and then it was just like way too hot and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I've come out on a different day and I'm going to do more, but I wanted to do the first one so that I could like teach better and like understand how it all works. So I'm gonna finish that up and then we are going to go step by step for the next one. So it's been more than a couple days since the last time I saw you. We had some very crazy weather. Oklahoma is definitely giving us a run for our money, but we are out here ready to install some irrigation. I'm very excited. I just opened up the box. Let's take a look. Each Vego irrigation kit contains everything you need to irrigate one garden bed. I also had a lot of extra tubing, and it also comes with garden stakes if you don't want to dig a trench. So the first thing we're going to need to do is grab this bag that contains the brackets that look like little U's. The only bit of pre-planning that you really need to do is deciding where you want your main water to reach. So for me, I have this first bed as my main water source right here. So what I'm going to do is actually dig a trench to go around to the back of the garden beds because I want all of the water connection to be back there so that you're not seeing it at the front. But the first step is to remove these top bolts and switch them out with these. These are really cool because they just connect with the T-shaped object. These all have part numbers, which is explained in their explainer video, but these just get locked into here. You can move these, and then what you do from there is you install the on-off switch, so you can turn on some of the water spouts and turn off some of the other ones. Like for example, if your beds don't have things planted in a certain spot, you don't have to water the whole bed. You can sort of turn some off and on. This is the connector for your main water source. So this one will get this tube that you then just bend down into a U shape, and then that will connect also to your hose. With this, everything just sort of fits together. It's very, very cool. Also, like I was showing earlier, this is the T connector that goes to the water sprinklers. So those will just connect together like this. And then you grab your sprinkler and you put it on top here. And the sprinklers are nice because you can sort of change the type of water you're getting. So you can switch between a full-on mist or just a stream. I like to go sort of in between the two, but all you have to do is twist this here to decide how you want your water to be blown through. But literally that's it. This is the system, and they have these connectors, like I said, that you put on the inside. and it's so easy. And actually I was thinking that this system could work in a non-Vego garden bed too. Like if you already have a garden bed system, like at my house in Missouri, I have a wood one. This would be totally fine to put on those too, because it's just this and you just have to put a bolt through it to go in through your wood. So you don't have to have a Vego system to make this work, but if you do have a Vego system, it just is all one ecosystem and it works really well together. So I just popped off the cap and I'm just putting this on instead. Okay, so I'm at a place where I don't want to put a regular head, I want to put a sprinkler head, because right here I don't have anything planted that will be getting water right here. So I want to direct the water into the cilantro. We have these handy dandy sprinkler heads, and so what you do with this is you use the small tubing, and I'm going to insert it into the end, and then what I've done is I've just placed it where I want it to go in here. So I'm just gonna put it right next to this cilantro for this one. So I'm gonna take this tubing, and I have the option to turn this, so I'm gonna face it down. So I'm gonna take this tubing and I'm going to trim it about where it needs to go, and then I just insert it into the little hole. And now we'll have a sprinkler going right next to the cilantro, which I need to cut. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the rosemary that's on this end. I'm just gonna stick it kind of right in the middle of the plant. And then run this tubing. Hello everybody, I'm back for another little day for me. So I, as of yesterday, tested all of the beds to make sure that the water was working properly, and it is. So I wanted to show you how I'm planning on connecting all of them to each other. I have not done that up to this point, but it's just something that's going to take me a little bit longer to get to. But at least knowing that I can hook up my hose to all of these and like run like each bed for like, I don't know, 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever, and then switch it to the next one is good for me because I can at least walk away. But I will be putting in a timer and a trench and having it all automatically going, because I definitely need the automation. That's like the whole point of this, but I'm going to show you how that's going to happen. So I moved the connector actually to the back of this bed. So I did have it at the front because I thought I wanted to connect it at the front, and then back here do the connection to get to the next bed. But then I thought, how about I just run a trench from my spigot, which is over there, all the way over to here, and then basically tee it off to go this way. And then I will dig a trench that goes all along the back of all of the beds. And then at each bed, I will have a T connector that will come up out of the ground, and then it will then attach to here. And then it'll keep going and going, and then it'll match up with this one. So for each bed, I kind of did something a little bit different. Some beds did get like a sprinkler. Others got all of, actually I think I put sprinklers in all of them at some point, but a lot of them also just have like the directional pieces like this. So I'm going to turn on one of them so you can see what it looks like when they're running. Oh, looks like I actually have it connected here from the last test I did. So I'm gonna go turn it on. Oh, and by the way, look at these cute watermelon. I have two that are next to each other. They're friends. Okay, so you can see that this one is much more of a mist. And in order to change that, you just turn this, but you have to hold this while you turn it. But when you turn that, you can change it to like a spray, like so there's one stream of water, but if you turn it the other way, it will be just like a mist, as you can see here. So I did the mist by the flowers here. And then when I needed it to be more directional, I did it like this, so that these flowers can get all the water that they need. So all of the water in this bed is actually just being directed this way. I have a sprinkler going, which you can see right here. I just have it pressed like, oh gosh. I just have it pressed like right in the middle of that rosemary, so it gets really nice directional water. And then I have another one right next to the cilantro right there. All right guys, and with that, everything is installed. Everything is ready for whenever I have the trench dug and my timer set up. And actually, Vego has a timer, which I will link down below. Sorry, also I'm trying to muffle from the wind. It happens to be a windy day. The weather is always crazy here. But yeah, my friends, that is the Vego irrigation system. I'm so excited to see how this improves my personal quality of life with gardening, because it can become quite a lot, especially when you have lots of other responsibilities like being a parent or being a full-time employee, or just being a person who does not want to stand outside with a hose when it is 110 degrees outside. My garden is already happier right now than it has ever been, which is so exciting, and I really think that it is just due to the amount of water that we've gotten this spring. But I know that that is not going to last, and rainwater is not a reliable watering system. Like, having this water system in place is just going to be a really great backup solution. Like, I can turn it off when it rains, but most of the time, I'm especially thinking like end of summer, it's not going to be raining as much. And with it being so windy here, the soil dries out so fast. So anyway, I'm just really excited to have this system that is pretty foolproof, simple to install, especially for us girlies that are really intimidated by like tubing and connectors, and like the whole irrigation section at the hardware store always freaked me out. So I'm really, really thankful to have this solution that just makes it so easy. I also have a lot of extras, so I'm going to get one of those like boxes that has all the little compartments for your tools, and I'm going to put all my extra things in there so that in future years when I'm gardening different things, or maybe my beds are configured differently, I will be able to pull out all of my supplies again and switch up how I'm irrigating the beds. And you know what, it might come to a point like later this summer where I'm like, hey, these plants need like way more water, and then I can just switch things up and direct more water to certain places. But at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident in how I've done it. It's been really awesome so far. It's been up and running for a couple of days now because I wanted to see, like, are there going to be any holes in the system? Like, not literally, but are there going to be things that I want to like warn you about or tell you about to make your experience smoother? But genuinely, nothing has come up since I installed everything. So I will keep you updated on the garden, and especially as I dig my trench and set up the timer and everything else. We've got a lot more to do out in this yard. I mean, this really is just our first year here, and I'm already thinking about expanding the garden because I feel like I need more. So if you're interested in the Vego irrigation system, I will have it linked down below. If you click on that link, Vego will know that I sent you, and that really helps out my channel, and I really appreciate you guys for doing that. I also have a discount code that is Becca de la Plants 25. That'll give you $25 off a purchase of $150 or more through the month of June. So if you're seeing this right when I upload, that will apply to you. But yeah, the wind is gonna blow me away, so I will see you guys later. Thank you so much, Vego, for sponsoring this video and sending these out, and I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye.